Hello and welcome back to Stranded Deep. We find ourselves once again in the map editor looking at our island, what will become our home island. And after the last episode where we tested this thing out in the game, we identified a few little issues. One of them is over here, which kind of surprised me a little bit. The fact that this ficus, of all the trees in the game, of all the things that we'd actually put into our world, this thing here is floating far, far above the world. There we go. That's done. Dunyan rings. There was something else. There was another tree that was kind of floating. So I just want to get these little things tweaked. Was it this one? I believe it was. Yeah, it was. Look, you can see the bottom of it there. Just the it's not even. Wow, we're under the map. No, we're not under the map anymore. It's magic, like a trick. Only less tricksy. Less magic and more those little toys you find in breakfast cereal. Oh, do they still put toys in breakfast cereal? I don't know. I remember getting like a little polystyrene aeroplane in one a very, very long time ago, and then my sister stood on it, which is the fate of all those little polystyrene aeroplanes that I ever had. Every single one. One of my siblings would just go and squash it. Not maliciously, they would just be like, "I'll go get it," and then squash, and then that was it. Wow, that was a thing. So there was this bit of terrain here we were going to smooth off, crank the amount up, rip the knob off, change the size down, check it on a bit of land that's actually sticking up. There we go. That'll do. So this was a bit rough here, and now that's smooth. Brilliant. We're actually going quite well. Oh, there was a rock or a series of rocks here that could impede the ingress of a raft. That was an interesting little thing. So what we'll do is we'll make sure we got the raisin lower. Let's hit lower. Make sure the amount is tweaked all the way down just a little bit, and push this down. If the game really wants to put some rocks here, then we're going to have to not increase the draft. What is it? Increase the depth of the channel, not the draft of the boat. There we are. We'll just do that. We can do that. So that's another thing we needed to do. So popping the map in the game, just having a little look at it as it stands is really useful for these things. So if you're trying to get a raft in here and you're being chased by a shark, I don't know if there will be a shark if it chases you in, or if somebody says, "Hey, you know what this map needs? It needs more teeth." Well, yeah, you probably don't want to be stuck on a rock just here while there's a shark biting at your butt. We're just going to turn the ocean off. It's going to go down, 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 down. That doesn't look too bad, actually. Well, that's the wrong thing. It's interesting how we get the brush, even though it's not going to be doing anything in this mode. Fine. Crank the amount up and just smooth this area off again. There we go. So hopefully that's now deep enough to actually allow a boat to get in, even if there are rocks. Probably. It's looking fine though. Ah, brilliant. Okay. Other things that we noticed. Objects everywhere. Oh, this is not too bad actually. So our carefully placed rocks have about 5-6 inches of grass that grows up on them. So what we're going to need to do is just kind of pull them out of the ground a little bit. It's not a terrible thing to do this. It will affect. So the people who are going to see them poking out the ground more are going to be people running this on low power without the grass. But we, or anyone with the ability to render grass in the game, is, well, they'll see more rock, I guess. More rock for their money. And when I say money, I mean free. As long as you bought the game. Wow. Okay, fine, whatever. Yeah, we're just going to make some tweaks. Going to raise these up a little bit more to make them more prominent so that it looks a bit more like a gateway. Cool. And we are going to grab this and do this. Oh yeah, that was what I was thinking. Sorry, I think I've either done the thing that I normally do and eat very, very hot pizza, which means I've blistered my mouth, or something. I've got scurvy. I don't know. but I got this blister on the side of my tongue. Blister? Ulcer. Something on the side of my tongue, and it's all kind of making it hard to talk, which is a really hard thing if you happen to be running a YouTube channel and you really do need to talk. So, hey, that's fun. Yeah, so I was thinking, shower thoughts. I was also on Reddit before this. I was just waiting for something to finish downloading in Steam, went on Reddit, and then lost about an hour's worth of time. Yeah, it's good time eater is old Reddit. So yeah, I was having a shower thought, and I was just like, oh, you know what this game could do when it finally comes out in its final form. Because this is not its final form. This is early access. Yeah, when the game comes out, I would love to see a couple of like DLC packs, because one of the things they're talking about is adding multiplayer, and multiplayer is fine. Okay, multiplayer is fine. If you get your friends involved and everyone's like having a good time, that's okay. I don't see a problem with that. Obviously, you don't want to open up your island or your map to murder hobos, or that one friend who will go mine an entire island for resources and then just build a god-awful, ugly skyscraper, just in view of your beautifully manicured home base. Because there's always that one dude, Alan. Always that one dude who will do that. Yeah, but I was thinking, so they could do some DLC packs, like a costume pack for multiplayer. I'd like to see a female character in the game that you could play, because I've always played female characters in video games probably since No One Lives Forever, and No One Lives Forever 2, because that was an excellent game series, and they never made a third game. Contract Jack, because that would be stupid. That was Monolith. Oof. Yeah, that was rough. They listened to who they listened to? It's industry analysts, and industry analysts said, "Oh, boys don't want to play a female character in a game," and completely forgot Tomb Raider existed. I'm like, guys, come on. So since then, I've always played female characters, and it's just like, why do you do that? I don't want to really listen to a dude grunting. That's just my thing. It's just like, oh, my dude's just tripped over and broken his ankle, and now he's grunting a lot. That's great. Or you're playing an MMO, and it's like, hey, do you want to play a sweaty dude with like leather grundle? And it's like, no, not particularly. Show me the elves. Show me the elves. The elves? No, whatever. I was going to go on as something about like misrepresented in games, whatever. I better finish that off actually. So yeah, when we play in Dungeons and Dragons, I usually play an elf because it's got an insanely high dex bonus, which means if you take something like a great sword, you get pretty much guaranteed to hit, and then you just find a weapon with a lot of damage to it, and then you just stand in the doorway and chop everything up. Fine. The other thing we need to do, so okay, just real quick. We've pulled these up a little bit. They're a bit more prominent, which is not a problem. I just want to pull that up a little bit more because I can just see some terrain clipping through. So these are going to be a little bit more prominent. It doesn't really change the effect. It's a bit more chunky, which is probably what the game needs. So if you are putting fine details in, just make them a little bit chunky. Cool. Oh, I'm leaving the houses the way they are. I really liked the way that the grass kind of almost erase them. So that's cool. And these here, not too bad. I might pull them up a little bit, just so they're not. There we go. Yeah, DLC, fine. We'll get back to the point. It's a long way back to the station. So yeah, DLC. So when they finally released the game, the boys over at Beam Team, the boys in Australia, are like, well, everyone's already bought the early access. How do we make any money after the game goes live? And I think obvious one, cosmetics. Fine, not a problem. And I was thinking, hang on a minute. I'd like them to do 2 packs. One, so the boys can eat, obviously, because if you're making a video game, it's not cheap. It takes a lot of time. But I'd like to see another one where the funds for us, like a second DLC pack, go to like ocean conservation or something. Just an idea, just throwing it out there. But yeah, as human beings, we tend to do a lot with the sea in terms of messing it up fun time. And I think it'd be quite a good, I was going to say propaganda, advertising tool for the game as well. So, you know, hey, we're supporting the wildlife while you are, in fact, in-game going around murdering sharks. I think that was the thing that kind of triggered the idea. The fact that we are spending a lot of our time in the game straight murdering quite a lot of sharks. And in real life, I like sharks. I really do. As long as they stay in the ocean and I stay on the land, I have no problem with sharks whatsoever. Absolutely none. If they suddenly start riding buses around wearing hats, then I've got a problem. It's like, I will be that person and be like, guys, come on. Somebody posted in the comments, I can't remember who, saying that these rocks need to come out a little bit more because this doesn't look like a roadway or a path. And I have to agree with you. I can remember your thumbnail, but I can't remember. The thing is, names I have a real problem with. I can remember faces. Faces are real good. And I was listening to a podcast earlier, and it was about lectures. People going to lectures, and it was probably the Yogscast, Triforce podcast, about people going to lectures. And the thing about them is that you have somebody standing at the front of a classroom, and they talk, and they talk, and they talk, and they talk for hours and hours, or even just minutes, and you don't take any of the information in. At least I never did when I was in college. It's like, guys, slow down. I can't take any of this information in. What are you trying to do to me? And it turns out years later I found out that I was probably kinesthetic, which means that if you show me how to do something, I'll remember how to do it, and I'll probably be quite good at it. But if you tell me how to do something, or if you tell me how to do something, I just won't be able to do it. It's like, just do it like this, dummy. I'm like, no, just show me. Same thing with navigation, actually. I can remember maps really easily. In fact, I love maps. Maps are one of my, I don't know what it is. A nicely drawn map is really, really quite pleasant. Really quite something. I do enjoy a good map. And when I'm going somewhere, what I'll do is I'll just memorize the map for that area, so that kind of region. And then as soon as you're close, then everything starts to sort of fit, sort of the landscape and the geography and geometry and things. I think I did that last time I went to Cardiff. I was like, I need to get to this place in Cardiff, so I just remembered the map, and that was it. I haven't ever used a GPS myself. I've been in a vehicle where GPS has been used, but I find it hilarious because they're like, turn left now. And I'm like, do we want to turn left here? I mean, it is a river, and we're all probably going to, I don't know, end up in a river. And the GPS is like, turn left now. I don't think the GPS gets the fact that there's a river here. But they're very insistent on that. So yeah, we've just raised these rocks up to make them a little bit more prominent, a little bit more chunky. They're a bit too subtle and a bit too out of the way. What we can do is probably just, I was going to say punch this grass down, but nah, whatever. It'll be fine. So this should now be, I mean, grass will probably still clip through it, but these will be a bit more obvious. These have been raised up a bit. So that's kind of cool. We can probably raise them up a little bit more. So it's, I think we're still learning. We're learning, and it's not a problem. In Stranded Deep, you got to make things a little bit more chunky in order to make them look good in the game itself. Cool. So broad brush strokes rather than fine details. But we're still trying to add fine details. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, this area here. We needed to punch these out a little bit more. So let's get this bush. Bush. Oh, there we are. Not as hard to click on as that other set of rocks that we were using on the coast. That was a pain in the butt. So yeah, through here we found that we actually had quite a lot of grass rendering, and it was kind of hard to see the path itself. So I'll just pull these up a little bit, as long as I grab the right toggle, and just make it a little bit more obvious that there is something here that can be viewed or explored or whatever. Let's do the same thing with this. So we're just kind of tweaking everything that we looked at last time, and found it either worked, but it was kind of too subtle. This is way too subtle as well. So these need to come out of the ground a lot more. Yeah. Yes, they do. We also need to do something here. Probably just throw in a cliff or something. There we go. There we go. Yeah, because these things get lost in the grass. We probably pull them up a little bit, but I don't think it's going to make too much difference. Let's do this. Let's do this. Oh. Okay, fine. I'm like, oh, that's not. That suddenly changes the shape of it. We can rotate it. That'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We'll do it live. We are doing it live. There we go. So we'll need to do the same thing here. We just need to remove the camera to see which toggle to grab. That is the right toggle. You don't need to actually be able to walk up there. So what's going on here? This is a bit of an oddity to us. It's a bit too... I don't know. I don't have a word, an adequate vocabulary to describe this lump. Is a lump. Cliff 6. Hello. How are you? Oh my god, you're way too big probably. Let's rotate it. I mean, it's not going to smash everything around. It's not as if anything just can react to each. It's too big. It's way too big. So we can delete it. Boop. Are you sure you want to delete this object? I am absolutely, positively, 1000% not sure where the sentence is going. We'll do the same thing with this. Let's go like that. Fine. Press T. Let's grab that. Move it back. Out. Rotate. Enhance. Zoom. Which, by the way, I think everyone knows that that doesn't work. You can't zoom and enhance unless you have the data there. So, yeah, CSI. I wonder how many people actually go to join like police academies and stuff. Like, oh, can't we zoom and enhance on pictures to see the criminals? It's like, no, that really doesn't work. This kind of... I'm wondering if this geometry is going to look okay. I mean, this is kind of... What have we got going on over here? It's kind of the same. I think it's fine. Should we push that back in a bit? Let's do it. Where is this? What's this? That is that. Okay, cool. Cool. So I just wanted something just to... oh, okay, that's probably a lot better. You know what we can also do is just as we're tweaking this, throw in some sort of plant thing here. So do that, and another one, palm 4 probably. Yeah, all right, and just something here. It does make a handy little path up though. So maybe if we don't block this off, but if you just throw in just something like a scrubby little bush. These bushes do quite a lot of... Like, they're quite useful. I don't think it's useful enough in this instance, mostly because we're going to need something with a bit of a trunk to it. And there we go. That does have a trunk. We'll rotate this. The leaves. We'll actually rotate it. There we go. There we go. That's fine. And then probably out a little bit. Back. I just don't want it clipping into the rock. I don't think anything... Did anything else do that? Probably not. I can't remember too much more of what we were doing last time. So if you're wondering, if you're saying to yourself, how are these recorded? Do you spend a lot of time pre-planning and pre-recording stuff? No, this will probably go up later today. So, you know, there's we don't, well, I don't pre-record too much stuff depending on what we are showing. But in terms of Stranded Deep, this tends to go out, yeah, about the same day I record it. So that's not too bad. I might throw in some more trees this side. What was the problem this side? There was something. Oh, over here, we were curious about the depth of this and whether it was really that deep. You know what we're going to do? We're going to hit save, because of course we are. The other thing I've done is we're not in... So we were in exclusive mode before. We're now in borderless window mode. And I was wondering if that would actually make a difference to performance. Not sure. I think exclusive mode should do, but if you tab out or try to tab out, you will lock your computer up fun time, which by fun time I mean you'll just lock it up real hard. It's not that good. Let's grab something from there, knock the size down to there. The amount is okay. Yeah, I just wanted a bit more definite on the old water there. I think we probably smoothed it off a little bit too much at some point in the past. That's okay. Cool. So we have fixed the tree over there. We fixed the floating ficus. We've done something with this. Okay. We've tweaked a lot of the rocks. We just pulled them out of the ground a little bit. That's good. We could probably do that a little bit more. Press T, bring some of these up. I don't think we really looked up here. There was too much point in looking up here. Probably do that. Just make it a bit more. Just a bit more, I guess. Some things did work. This worked quite well. Over here, what do we have over here? I think we didn't see anything over here that was too bad. No, I don't think there's anything that really stuck out, called out to us. No, I don't think so. Good. So we've done this as well. So we've pulled this out. Oh yeah, that looks a little bit more, just a little bit more tidier. A little more tidier, a little tidier. Yeah, apparently this needs to be deeper and wider for fish to spawn. I'm not entirely sure because I think fish ignore terrain. In that I've seen them in very, very shallow areas, so you might get fish just sort of scooting around over the sand. I mean, we can punch it out a little bit more, just make it a little bit deeper. So we'll do that. Why not? I mean, it's going to cost us nothing except time. And we have, at the moment, enough of that. So let's do that. Let's do this. Read from the bottom. We could punch it out. Just lower it. Change the amount down. It's a hard brush. Turn the weather off. No weather. And that's the... It's locked. There we go. There we go. We're back here once more under the shadow of the ficus tree. I think in terms of having enough shadow on this island, or shade on this island, I think there was enough for us to be going on with in terms of not getting sunburnt to pieces. Let's turn the amount up a little bit more. I'm reading the terrain height, aren't I? That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm thinking it's not going down. Oh yeah, no, we need to push this down a little bit more. Change the amount up. There we go, a little bit faster. Don't think it matters too much if the bottom of this is a bit uneven. I don't think it matters at all. I think in terms of getting seaweed and stuff to spawn here, I think that's probably, yeah, it's definitely going to need to be bigger and deeper. Or at least have the rock showing. I think as soon as you get the rock showing, which is what we've got here, I think that's enough for stuff to start spawning, but you need enough of an area for the sort of random terrain generation to start throwing in seaweeds and pictures of the queen and small pots of marmalade and maybe even a couple of Christmas crackers. With those really terrible jokes and like a paper hat or two. I'm just saying if everyone's still awake, just can't blame me for. So we're just going to hit the soft brush. Make sure the mount is up. Just smooth that out. It almost erases everything we've done, and until we get to the edge, and then it sort of punches it out a little bit more. That's just smoothing that off. Cool. We can always make it a bit deeper. It's actually bringing those rocks up. That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter too much about that. So we're kind of working in the area that we've got. We can make this a little bit. Let's change the amount down. Let's just punch this down a bit. Why not? Okay. So that is a lot wider than it was. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We can always do another test. We'll need to do another test at some point anyway. Current plan for this map is basically what we'll do is we'll get to a point where that is reset. That's what I want. Smooth height. That's what I need. So current plan is to get the map to a playable, like a playable scenario, position, group, orange, condition, a playable condition, and then probably just hop back into the main game and wait for the next update. So we may finish up probably in the next couple of episodes, because I need to put some mining stuff in, so rocks. We do need to sort this out, and we also need to sort out the center of the island, this bit here, this sort of corridor here. I might do that in the next episode, and then just throw in some rocks around here, maybe some clay in the river. Yeah, I think we need to do that. So this is a lot wider and deeper than it was. Is the water starting to get a bit rougher? Yeah, there's like whitecaps and stuff. Yeah, just a little bit. Okay, so then that's behaving differently. That'll be interesting. Just make sure these plants haven't suddenly... They're actually in the rock. Do we place them in the rock, or do we move the rock back onto them? I don't know. So what we'll do is we'll just hit this. Okay, and then just push that back as well, and then up a little bit. So yeah, we'll get into a playable condition. Then we'll abandon it until the next update, when things like aloe vera come out, because of course we're going to need the medicinal plants for farming in the not too distant future. And then I guess kind of throw it up on Google and just share it out, because, well, if you just spent a load of episodes watching someone make an island, maybe you want to play it, I guess. Maybe just a little bit. So hopefully we've got all the bugs fixed, all the bugs squashed. I think all the roots are okay. That's a little bit deeper now. So on this rock is a little bit deeper, in there is a little bit deeper. We've kind of done something with this, added a few more trees. Good. It's got everything it needs. I still might just brush over the beach. We can leave it. We can absolutely leave it. And yes, we can absolutely put something off shore. Is it Krampus in the comments? I am hopeless. I am completely hopeless. Yeah, okay, so what we'll do is we'll do that. We'll save real quick. So what we'll do is hit save, and yes, and then resume, and then we'll get terrain. We're already on terrain. Like I said, see previous comments. Select that bit of dry ground there. So I just don't like it being absolutely flat. So we'll just raise it up a little bit here and there. So it's, and we can just leave it as a big open area. It's not a problem. Not a problem. There we go. And then smooth it off. There we go. So it's not just, yeah. It's subtle. That's terrifying. Suddenly. Well, hey, Welcome to the nightmarish world of what's under the island. Yeah, okay, let's not do that again. We probably will do it again. So good. Yeah, so yeah, if you do want to build a house on a beach, you can do it. I think I might just smooth that off a little bit more. There we go. I want it to be more subtle. There we go. Ah, that's better. Subtle. Subtle. Not even noticeable. But not absolutely flat. Okay, cool. So we've done that. We've done... Is there anything else we needed to do? I can't remember if there was anything we needed to identify. Maybe this area here we needed to do something with. I think I'll probably just throw a rock or something on it. Throw a rock on it. Boop. Press T. Boop. I don't know. It just feels like a big lumpy mound, and it doesn't feel right. I think that's the main problem. We can always just kind of play a little with this. Let's do this. Rotate. What's this going to look like? Ooh, it's going to look like a happy little accident or a terrible, terrible mistake. Maybe a happy little accident. Let's do this. Okay. Okay, right, fine. I'm just trying some things out. Essentially, what we have is this big sort of lump, which we created, and then we carved out one side to make this kind of barrow or entrance to a barrow, or like an area where the islanders may have been getting their rock and various bits and pieces. Their rock. Yeah, the islanders were into heavy metal. They were into, well, I say heavy metal. I mean, they are from the Iron Age, so probably a bit Bon Jovi, maybe. Yeah, just throwing some rocks in here. I can always just look at them in the real world and just see what happens when we've suddenly got grass and stuff around here. We can also throw a tree in there as well, but I'm just trying not to throw in any more ficus. Well, you can, absolutely. But the other thing we haven't actually done is like a foliage pass. We have thrown in a lot of shrubs and things just here and there, but we haven't actually gone through the entire island and just thrown a bunch of plants down, which probably should actually do because it breaks up these just kind of the terrain a bit. What am I looking for? Potato plant? No, yucca. Ooh. Ah, okay, right. That suddenly makes a little bit more sense. So why would you bother venturing up there? Well, there's a yucca plant there. Good. And pine everywhere. No, pine. We can't use any more pines. We're out of pines. We're out of chicken. Out of pines. You can always put one of these up there. Boop. That's the same tree, isn't it? That's the same tree, but it's not going to matter too much. Fine. That looks a little bit more uneven. Yeah, fine. That's better. It's a little bit better. So good. We have gone through, fixed some bugs, played around with some rocks, moved some things around, just to make sure it doesn't. English. It is my first language. Bad English is my second language. Yeah, so we've moved these rocks around so that the grass doesn't just clip through them. Hopefully, that's the idea. We can do a second test. We put some trees in the ground because they don't want to be floating in the air. Only the snowman should float in the air. We have enlarged the fish pond. We've punched a little hole in the beach. We've made some sand a little bit uneven, very subtly, almost unnoticeable, unless you were told about it. I hadn't realised how many of these beaches actually had stuff on them, and it wasn't until I was looking at the outline in the cartographer that I realised there's lots of little bits of water on the beach, so that's kind of cool. Yes, I think. Oh, the other thing I was going to do is get rid of the beans. Beans? No beans. Yeah, okay, let's do that. We could probably actually put that on there as well. I don't think it has too much function where it is. So we will make sure it's kind of up a little bit. Hopefully that'll drop down onto there. So is a physics object. Maybe it'll end up in God knows nowhere. There will also probably be a crate landing on the beach. Okay, fine. We're going to save that because we always save things. Done, done, and resume. And you know what? I think I'm going to call it there. We have gone around and tweaking stuff. So what I'll probably do next episode is work on that center bit, this island bridge, and then throw in some resources. I think, apart from like a foliage pass, we're pretty much done. I don't want to kind of over tweak the island. If the patch isn't out by then, by the time we finish with all this, probably just go back into the main game, go back to playing the game for realsies. And then once the next patch is out, throw in some essential plants, the medicinal plants, and then look at refreshing the map and throwing this place in. So that'll be cool. That'll be really, really cool to actually start playing on this island, throwing some housing in and getting farms going and stuff. That'd be neat. But you know what? If you're liking this, definitely leave a cheeky little subscribe, leave a like, and you know what? I will catch you next time.